I'm Nilati Makanda, and this is UOMT Radio, where we dissect culture with the sharpest of minds in the streets. In a rapidly evolving world, young individuals often feel like life is passing them by, with the intricate nuances of existence seeming less and less apparent than they ought to be. Art, however, possesses the unique ability to capture and immortalize not just the individuals, but the emotions of an era. Contemporary visual artists draw from a shared pool of memories, prompting us to examine more closely and perhaps even journey into the times we have or have not experienced. This discussion spotlights Tebogo Selepe, also known as Sloppy Selepe, a visionary and visual artist whose focal point is collaging. Sloppy, as meticulous in his attention to detail as in his worldview, enlightens us about the power of quiet persistence in establishing one's worth as an artist rather than shouting into a void. Emerging from the Pantsula culture and actively engaging in the urban cultural scene, Selepe's work vividly mirrors the interplay between reality and imagination, this being an aspect that is strikingly emblematic of South Africa's urban culture in its entirety.
Basically, I don't want to do the whole tell us who you are. The whole point of this segment of our channel is for people to love the conversation so much that they go check out who you are, right? That's the responsibility that they have. So a friend of mine and fellow artist sent me one of your artworks, right? And I think it was the one that had Reiki Reiki in it, right? It's sort of an ode to his, I guess, role and role in the urban culture and him just as an artist, right? So I think a good place to start would be in all the eras of South African urban culture. So we've got his Kotani, we've got Nezinyengazaziya, really. I want to know which era resonates with you the most, which era really speaks to you. Tell me. Talk to me.
Well, honestly, who I am right now, like with your naked eye, you wouldn't guess. I think my whole essence was based behind is Pantsula and Kwaito. So everything that was happening in the 90s, okay, I was born in 97, but born to a very young mother who was very much active in the culture in that time. So like she has like gang stories. Like apparently she used to do dance battles against Abo TMBC at some club. What the club was called. It's Josie though. I couldn't have it as much as now, but I was brought up in that time, so very much so. Like it's Pantsula. I can say my favorite artist Namanje.
Mr. Fun Times.
Like my song is
My mom actually usually makes a comment about how I don't think has he ever made a sad song, guys. It's all good times. I
don't think,
but Yena no Tebe, but I think especially Tebe. Utebe he's just about the good vibes. Like it's just nice times, it's vibes.
Like that's the life that's in us. As much as and like in the 90s, really, I think like that time was very happy in a way, dude. Like South Africa got its independence and all of that. Like we were now finding our own identity, I think. So like honestly with that, like newfound freedom and things like that, like it's like a new start. So I think there were more positives than negatives because so many doors were open. And like the Gussie, as young as it is, I think children even are their happiest at that very young age, because like everything is so open to you. You're seeing all these colors. I'm a Popeye, they dope. You are taking it all in with a very innocent,
like a fresh eye.
So it's inevitable, and within us, like like no matter what we're facing, there's always going to be a level of like not necessarily having a good time, but unity and positivity.
Yeah.
Like that, whatnot, we do find a way of coming together, and once we realize things become better, you feel better. So,
I feel like that's sort of energetic, like in the sense that like it's a way to transmute whatever. I don't know, Black people have this special way of transmuting whatever energy into magic. I don't know, it's really cool, and it's like nice to observe, like even globally, you know, like even on the internet there's, you know, like bad things happening, but there'll always be, you know, cool things happening, jokes, music, you know, the vibes. We're just vibey people.
Because at the end of the day, like, there's just so many personalities that come together, and everyone experiences things differently. And what's cool about like Ikasi, I can say, is that like so gets bigger, like everyone's looking at everyone else, whether it's like in a lawyer I'm shy or lawyer I can collaborate with young talent.
Yeah.
Even in competition, you find something beautiful coming from that, and it's all based on the essence of community.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Like because way back then, like my mom always says, like walls weren't that high, so it's really very easy to see. And like they used to they used to live with their cousins, your brother, like big so and those people would all meet up as Kolweni. So obviously there's gonna be like an exchange of ideas and things like that with different families, different cultures and things like that. So I think that's how we find different rhythms and different vibes, and that's how we manage to stay colorful. So
it's amazing. It's amazing. So you speak about the idea of Ukjonga all the time, right? And community. So as an artist, if you were to engage in a conversation with someone who isn't familiar about the craft of collaging and your unique style of work, how would you explain it to them? And what are the key elements and principles of your style that define your style as an artist?
I like how you put that question together. It made me realize that it is from the art of Ukjonga, like
yeah.
And wow, man, I'm realizing now the upbringing and the fact that Uti is all the time really does play a big part in, because I spend most of my time on the internet, most of my time on Instagram and things like that. So with collaging, how I would explain it to someone who doesn't know, it's basically reimagining something that's already there, adding your own spin to the things that you are used to.
Okay.
But in my context, I like creating new atmospheres from that we are used to, or things that we might have seen. And so just reimagining that space, because things, especially in this age now, bro, all these movies that are coming out and whatnot, it's just so nice to kind of contextualize that within an African sense. It's okay if I were to take Ikasi to space, or if I were to take Ikasi to a Disneyland, would look, and collaging, it kind of like allows me to take all these elements from things that aren't even, or like, isn't just things that weren't supposed to be together, but then at the end, like putting it together, like, that it just culminates into something that's, whoa, out of this world. But in a nutshell, it would just be like reimagining things that are already existing in them in just like fantastic environments,
and
bro.
just in a juicy way. In a juicy way. Listen, I'm getting goosebumps, and that's because there's a question I have down, right, about how I feel collaging is an art form that involves bringing together, like you said, bringing together different elements, right? Compressing them into one, but also how that intersects with time, right? Collaging as a form of time travel. Let's talk about that. I don't know what you have to say about that, but let's talk about it. I feel like when you answer that question now, I felt like that was sort of leading somewhere into that. So tell me about your thoughts about the art, the art or the craft itself, interacting with the concept of time, and how you see your place in that dimension.
These questions are freaking awesome. Honestly, with that, like, because as an art form, when I first started out, like, I saw this one dude on Tumblr. He's more like overseas guy.
Yeah.
His name was like Trash Riot. And how he did collaging was more of the, I don't want to say cliche. His style is awesome. That's what got me into the whole thing. But his style was more taking all those adverts from like 1940s posters and whatnot, and placing them in like even though his style was retro still, but like he would put these people on the moon in space and stuff like that. So now, literally, you do get to play with the aspect of time. Mm-hmm. You can put Umak Riza, who's never seen a smartphone, on the freaking, like, on a rocket, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we are reimagining how she lived, and you are now not necessarily elevating, but now you are reviving the spirit you're reviving the spirit in a time that isn't necessarily even like here right now. You could be envisioning her in the future. Like, it really does bend the mind like that. It does bend the mind like that.
Or creating an alternate version of time, like something that completely, doesn't exist. That's dope.
Like, that actually reminds me of this other, I don't want to say it was a series at that time, but this one piece that I made, like, I think 2 years ago. I called it God's Window. God's Window. I'll send you a DM with that.
Jeez.
Like, because what I did was, I took a picture of a traditional African lady and kind of surrounded her with all these elements that basically that brings us back to like the African sense, but then the things that surround it is like light bulbs. There's now architecture of like European stuff. So like,
that's amazing. That's amazing.
It really allows us to really fuck with the mind. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
So
that's amazing.
That's what.
So, I love the fact that you mentioned, I like where this artwork is going that you just described. So I've been observing, I'm based in the Eastern Cape, right? So when people think about, when you say the culture, a lot of people think about Johannesburg, and that's fair, right? But I've been sort of observing the culture in the context of Eastern Cape.
Sorry, that's me.
Yeah, that's you. I've been observing the culture in the context of the Eastern Cape and how young people are having the conversations of the traditional and the spiritual and the modern, right? And as a young person who is based in Gauteng, where are you in that? And like you said, you have artworks sort of steering the conversation in that direction. But I want to know about your lived experience. I know a lot of people are very conflicted also with the rise of Boma's African spirituality. And, you know, as young people, we are having all these conversations and trying to place ourselves, you know, basi pitina in the conversations. So where are you in that as an artist, as a person, and as a participant in the urban culture as well?
I can say very much rooted within, like,
you are there.
Themes of, like, especially as of late. And like, I think everything that I've come up with this year is very much either culturally, it has like cultural connotations or spiritual connotations, because nah, dude, we are African, bro. You know what I mean? Like, our spirituality it cannot be ignored. And so it cannot be ignored at all. Wherever you go, nase town, you find shops.
Yeah.
When you look across the street from that shop, there's Umama wearing her church attire, going to church, back from church.
Yeah.
It's literally everywhere. And I can say personally, like, you caught me in the thick of like a young,
my timing is great.
I know it's on point, Maji. Like, for real, it's like you caught me in the thick of a young transformation. And my last 3 pieces kind of are speaking of that. Like, all those 3 pieces are showing people walking with their backs turned to the viewer, and they're walking towards like a specific destination. There's like a doorway, if you will. And I mean, where I'm at right now, like, dude, I had to leave so many things behind. Like, I had to leave. I was a heavy stoner and all that shit. So, like, today actually marks 1 month off of that. Like, I've been sober-minded and all of that stuff. And coming to find Uguti and like, I was even asking my mom, they were saying, keep on. Like, all of a sudden, this thing is just not doing what it used to do, like the weed and shit.
Yeah.
Like, nah. Basically, the thing that's inside is trying to now
self-actualize or actualize.
Expose itself, communicate with you. So within that, your journey is basically beginning towards finding yourself, going inward, my bro.
I love that. I mean? Yeah, I love that. And I mean, that's yummy for us as people that follow your art, obviously, because we get to witness that transition. And I mean, art is a very, very spiritual thing, right? I was on a podcast recently talking about how important it is to trust your gut, and I feel like that also, it has everything to do with it. That as artists, we often don't walk journeys that a lot of people can understand, right?
Sure.
And it's very interesting to see young people sort of leaning into that. And I think, as a person who works with collaging, I'm sure you've encountered people who don't understand your work, right?
Funny enough, bro, like, if I can be 100% honest, man, I kind of don't want them to think that they have to understand it, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I have this love-hate thing with the contemplation of art, and people asking the artist and so, okay, so now what does this mean? Like, what does this mean? Especially with my work, bro, for me, it's an invitation to, like, okay, let's actually speak, bro. What do you see? Because personally, I know there's a lot going on. And with that, I'm kind of encouraging you to, like, tell me your story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? because I don't go into it with a plan. I never go into like each and every collage. I can say it's been a conversation between me and it.
Amazing.
I don't go in there saying, okay, today I want to make a spiritual collage.
Let's go.
It's literally, it's literally like, yo, what is speaking to me? It starts with the centerpiece and then it tells me, okay, this is my world. And I'm like, oh, snap. And usually the meaning, maybe 8 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10, bro, the meaning hits me once I really sit back and be like, oh shit, okay,
yeah,
I see now. Yeah, so yeah, it's a little bit of a love-hate thing there.
I feel you. And I think also there's the running theme of being Black artists, and that also holding weight. I actually, our first episode for UOMT Radio was with Sembe. He's a photographer. And we also spoke about that, the pressure for Black artists to always be somewhat political, somewhat meaningful. Like, guys, the pressure.
When do we actually play, bro?
When do we relax?
When do we not be so serious?
Yeah.
Because I thought in a Black family, you'd get your dad maybe and associate seriousness with your dad, or someone with or your mom, dog. So I had a strict mom.
Yeah.
But then, dude, it wasn't always just that. There was my uncle who's the jokester. There was my aunt who was also imaginative, very expressive. So, dude, there's just too many avenues of our lives that I feel aren't necessarily being expressed for what they are. Like, we always, I'm gonna just say for what it is, we're always trying to force this depth. And
yeah,
ooh. Yeah, I get it.
That one was ice on the spine.
You know what I mean? Let's picture us now, actually having, how this conversation started. We are always people of a good time. And so even though we've shown that good time, there's depth within the happiness as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that, I think, it needs to be celebrated way more, especially now, because the culture is way different from what it was back then.
Yeah.
Pantsula sasekhona, but then you wouldn't necessarily pinpoint them because some of them now dress like hip hop heads. You know what I mean? Until you ask them, it's like Mtano Mamilinda, and then they're like, oh no, Mamilumtu, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, no, bro. Not to say we must stop. Those stories are still very much important because we are still going through the most.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. Certain things that used to trouble us back then. There's new age apartheid. There's new age.
Hey, wena.
Whatnot and so on. So those things still need to be exposed. But then I think we should also bring the positivity on the same level, bro.
Yeah, and the play.
Exactly.
Yeah,
bro.
There's something very healing about. There's a lot that's healing about play, and I think I agree with you. And I not only agree with you, but I feel like that's the space that I'm in as an artist. I love the deep conversations, but also I've realized that I have to embody play. I have to embody joy if I want that to reflect in my work, right? I can't say, hey guys, we are being playful now.
Exactly, bro. Because you can't force that.
Yeah.
It happens.
So we speak of, I think this is a good place to slot in. We speak of the challenges
that we sometimes face in a rapidly evolving society, right? Could you share some key challenges that you've encountered as an artist, and maybe even in the urban culture space, navigating Johannesburg, really anything that you feel like is a stumbling block for you as an artist and as a person? Let us in.
Word. Key challenges I can say, especially it's loud and you really need to scream like, this is who I am.
Oh, that's so true. I can relate to that.
You know what I'm saying? And then me,
wow.
I wasn't really raised like that. And I can say I was always like an introverted / shy person in a way. And how I want to blow up or be noticed is through the work. That's why I decided to post all my stuff on Instagram and things like that. Whereas my peers would be posting their lifestyles and whatnot.
Yes.
I'm not necessarily that much of an interesting person. My mind is where the interesting things happen.
Yeah.
And because I think so much, sometimes I say too little. And this place where I'm at needs you to be like, yo, dog.
This is what I'm doing.
This is me, dude.
Listen, what you have said is so important. I had an experience where, so I told you I'm based in the Eastern Cape, so I go to Gauteng for work, right? So I was waiting for my friend at a restaurant, and so that sort of turned into like a get-together of sorts, how Joburg things work. Things work fast. So now I'm sitting with people that I can tell are amazing and do great work, and and I was put on the spot, okay, introduce yourself. Oh, Lord, Father, Lord, Jesus Christ.
The urge in me to always just say, I'm just a nigga.
I am just a human being breathing. And it was so awkward for me because I think also, I do the work that I do. But I'm really in the spaces where now I must say, I'm really in a space where I have to be loud, right? So even the way you articulated that, it's beautiful because I hear you. I hear you. And it was this awkward thing where everyone's looking at you and it almost feels like you must sell yourself in the moment, right? And I was very conscious of the fact that the people I'm sitting with are influential within the spaces they orbit, right? And so you start to understand the currency of Gauteng, that any moment could be your moment, and and that sort of puts you nyani in the spotlight of be loud, constantly be loud, because you don't know when your loudness is going to turn into, I don't know what, your rockets into your dimension of what, success, fame, or whatever.
Exactly, bro. Because for me, I've been having that battle, Hulu. I even started questioning my own identity on stuff young papi, and now what's going on, dog? What's going on? I just thought the work itself had to be dope because it seemed I just felt like it was just rigged at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe we're all supposed to act the same way, talk the same way, but nah.
Doesn't feel right.
It doesn't, bro.
Yeah.
And I guess that authenticity is it's very much like finding yourself as a person, dog.
Yeah.
You need to interrogate your strengths and weaknesses and things like that, and kind of turn the weaknesses into what your version of authenticity is. Because vele sonke ngeke siphaphe ngokufana.
Yeah, guys.
Until we like-minded people, and then that sense of community gives us a voice.
Yeah, it illuminates.
So I would say Kakulu is just like being out there is still a little bit of a challenge because I'm trying to understand
what that can look like. Yeah.
Right now, I've been asking myself, if I'm gonna now start doing like reels and TikToks and stuff like that, am I gonna be that? Hey guys, welcome to my channel.
Like, comment, subscribe.
You know what I mean? It's like, nah, like, yo, why can't I just like be your hey dog, come on, this is where I live. It's a nice little matchbox house. Yeah, this is what I done.
Yeah. You know what?
Shit like that. Mm-hmm.
I want to pick your brain about this because I feel like a lot of artists, maybe consciously or subconsciously, suffer from this. When we speak about Yonke Lendo, we just spoke about now, do you feel like you have the fear of being perceived? Like, and by the fear of being perceived, I mean, you speak of putting your work out there and feeling like the work should speak for itself, and no one should really have to attach Debza, the person, to the work.
Let me try to find the right words for this one because I don't think it's a fear of being perceived. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be seen. So
some way or another.
I think I actually learned this in therapy. It's more of the fear of not being in control of how you're being perceived.
Who's your therapist? Let's book them.
He's G or she's J. Yeah, these are no guy.
Hey.
But yeah, no, it's more because, like I've been saying, this journey that I've been on this past month, I've been like just taking walks around my own hood.
Yeah.
And not listening to music, like I leave my phone at home and stuff like that. But dude, I would find that I linger on what the little kids say, what like the timers say when I pass by and stuff like that. And I got to realize, like, no, man, it's not that I'm full of born. I just want these people to understand who I am. But you must also take into account that sometimes you're so special, so rare, that they have to put you in boxes that they are familiar with. And that's okay, bro.
Wow.
That's chill. That's chilled, relax. The amount of times I get called school. It annoys me, but I'm like, well, to a certain degree, they are right, because I do listen to Playboy Cardi sometimes. I do listen to Scott, even though that's maybe 20% of my identity. There's still like I want them to have, like, when I pass by about time, I want them to know what my jazz playlist shits on your jazz playlist. But they don't know that because I'm not dressed like them. I'm not their age firstly. And obviously, I was so like, nah, it's more of like we have a fear of that misconception, like, nah, man, I'm peganga right type stuff.
That's very interesting. I'm learning because I think I also kind of have a fear of being perceived, but I know for a fact that certain seasons require you to break past certain barriers, right? And I really do feel like this is the season for that. I'm in my season of being seen. So I think also that's why I was asking the question. And I'm definitely learning. I will be listening to that part again, the gospel that you shared, because I have a lot to think about.
I'm also learning it as I go through it. So I not like take it and really blossom in your own way, so that you can come back with something that I can possibly learn from as well.
Yeah. So we know that the urban culture is a place that often, serves as a rich source of inspiration for artists, right? How crucial is it for you to stay connected to the urban culture and how it's moving, because it moves very fast. I keep on saying, Amapiano is a great example of this, guys. Amapiano is moving too fast. Like,
true.
It's so fast.
I may have to ask, like, by urban culture, do you mean like more of the commercial things that we see? Because
everything.
In that sense, okay, because for me it's like twofold. And so, onto in the commercial sense first, it's that part. You can't ignore it as well because it's being pushed in your face. Everyone's following. No matter what social media platform you go on, like literally this past weekend, my whole feed has just been Kendrick Lamar dissing Drake and J. Cole.
Hey guys,
if it's not that, it's like the latest piano track that just dropped. Everyone's dancing to it.
Hey, challenge.
You
challenge my challenge.
The young taller. And for me, it's very much important to stay abreast of that stuff. You must starve it because, firstly, you can't ignore it. And secondly, it's depending on the type of artist you are, it's showing you what to follow or what to ignore.
Interesting. Yeah, okay.
Because as things blow up, really, you gotta, you need to know where you stand with it. And this is where I realized this year, I don't like making hype art. Because you'd find that those things don't live too long. And sometimes you may find you're kind of selling a bit of yourself to stay relevant, and let's not do that. So rather use it as a compass, okay, this is worth following or this is worth seeing, and then from there you do your research. It's okay, and what made this thing pop? Where does it come from? What do the old people think and whatnot? Because it does influence everyone. So I guess, it was at some point, whether you're going there for work, whether you're going there to deposit money at the bank or just visit a friend, you're going to see groups of people. They may be they may be talking about a specific topic. And from there you formulate your own opinion on it. So you can't ignore it. And you should stay you should actually give it the attention that it needs. From there, you make a decision.
I feel you. And I keep saying things are moving so fast, and that's actually, it's a downside and it's an upside, right? Because things moving so fast also is the one thing that inspires my deep love for the culture. Watching it move, constantly. So we spoke about challenges, right? I wanted to speak about dreams, and particularly dreams that, despite things moving fast, despite things being difficult, dreams that you are steadfast, and you refuse to give up on, no matter how much society changes. Tell us about those, and how do you let them or allow them to guide your journey as a person, as an artist?
With dreams, I would say, okay, on a very, not necessarily political, but it's manifesto-y way.
Yes.
I just want people to come together, honestly, you know what I mean? Because there's too many subcultures and whatnot, and with that comes like, hey, you can't sit with us.
Hey, wena, hey.
And it does, dude. You see many people lose themselves because they don't know where they fit in. And like I have a dream. You would see like, nah, dog, we don't all have to be Beyonce, but everyone has their own role. Everyone is the shit at something. And so, like I've practiced it a little bit, like 5 cents worth. Yeah, guys, like there's these kids up the street that like are really into fashion and whatnot. They're teaching themselves utunga.
Yeah.
They buy their own materials and whatnot, but like I saw that no one in the hood is giving these kids time of day when it comes to that. Hood is like treating them how they think they should be treated. Yeah. And I was like, hey dog, I can't do a lot for y'all. I don't have cash, but here's a camera, dog. Take pictures of your shit. Work on the internet, dog.
Love it.
Young Tyler, like, that's gonna put not necessarily pressure, but like it's gonna open your eyes to, okay, this is how people are like out there are seeing our stuff, right? People, this is how they are reacting to our things, and they'll find their own path. And honestly, it's been good, bro. Like, and we weren't necessarily friends, I put something in there, and I gave them a little bit of something that I thought could help, and now we actually formulated a friendship through that, because now they look at my art and they tell me what they think, and like they always like they give me like an honest feedback type of thing. And ganjalo skula sonke in a very authentic way, and as abantu abamnyama, dog, I've come to notice we don't just have one talent, one skill. We turn skills into talent.
Magic.
So we turn skills into. So as much as they are the shit, I gave them the camera and I saw, oh snap, these kids can actually set design. These kids,
amazing.
They can take wonderful photos. They know how to like put these things in a composition. Like, sure, it's not like $1 million budget, but damn, dude, they made the hood work, and that's the authenticity.
Yeah,
that's where you find authenticity within the things that you have, that DIY spirit. And so bro, like that's my dream. I want, like, everyone just gets their spot, like their time to shine, the way that they shine, and put that in their control. And so, because like, just like we said earlier on, Songa's popping of Vana.
Yeah.
We don't speak the same. So that in itself shows us there's a billion more universes to explore within each person. So that's my dream, bro. Like, hey.
So your dream is... The dream you refuse to give up on is that we refuse to give up on each other. I love that.
And like with how this whole interview started with the Ricky Rick piece, you think of a person like Ricky Rick, dog. He put so many people on with his own influence.
Yeah.
And bro, that's literally how you live forever.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just become a chill, you build everyone around you, dog.
Yeah.
Ganjalo, it lives on forever. More cultures grow from their culture, and